Hello, I'm Waqar Rizvi, and this is Scope. On today's show, we'll discuss the barring of an opposition leader from running in Bangladesh's elections and the Deutsche Bank raid's implications. Khaleda Zia of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party remains in jail because of corruption charges. The Supreme Court has confirmed that she cannot run in the upcoming elections. At issue is the state of Bangladesh's democracy and the political motivations behind her case. What does this mean for Bangladesh going forward? To discuss this further, we're now joined by Mr. Masud Karim, who is the diplomatic editor of the Jurgantar Daily Bangladesh, and he's joining us live now from Netrakhona district in Bangladesh itself. And we're also joined by Mr. Rafiqul Islam Azad, who is joining us live from Dhaka in Bangladesh, and he is the senior staff reporter with The Independent. Thank you both for joining us. Mr. Masud, I'll start with you. What do you make of Khaleda Zia being blocked from running in these elections?
If you look, the Bangladesh's current law does not allow if somebody is for jail for 2 years or more, then she or he is not allowed to be participate at the election. This is the law. Khaleda Zia has been sentenced for one case for 10 years and another for 7 years. So the existing laws buried her to participate at the election. So at this moment, she is unable to participate at the election. But her party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP), and her alliance, Jatiya ঐক্য Front, now is leading by former foreign minister Bangladesh's. Once upon she was in Awami League. Now he has his own party. His name Ghaffar, Mr. Dr. Kamal Hussain, is leading his alliance, and the BNP and its alliance was headed by Dr. Kamal Hussain. Is the former foreign minister of Bangladesh, and he's not the leader of BNP, but is part of the alliance. So this time, this election will be held without Khaleda Zia's participation, but her party is participating, and her party is a major political party. So this time is a very, very tough election because Sheikh Hasina's Awami League and the Khaleda Zia's BNP both are participating. It looks like the participatory election. If you look at the history in 2014 last election, BNP boycotted the election. So half of the seats were elected.
If you allow me, Masud, because I wanted to put that point that you just made, Masud. Rafiqul Islam, do you agree that elections will be participatory? Do you think that there is actually competition for the Awami League of Sheikh Hasina right now?
Thank you very much. As one speaker is speaking that Khaleda Zia will not be able to contest the 11th general election. Even she is successfully appealed her sentences to grab prison. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
According to High Court order on November 27, the High Court said the people sentenced to over 2 years in jail cannot contest the election, even if their appeal is pending. However, there is only a path. If the opposition BNP, the arch rival of the ruling Awami League, files a petition for stay. If the appellate division of Bangladesh Supreme Court stay her conviction, sentence, and fine, she would be able to contest the poll. I have just talked to two senior BNP leaders. They said they will submit a petition to stay her conviction, sentence, and fine. It depends on the Supreme Court. Now it will depend on the Supreme Court. After the BNP will file the petition. The Khaleda Zia has submitted nominations to contest the forthcoming election slated for December 13 from 3 constituencies. That is Feni 1, Bogura 6, and Bogura 7 constituencies. However, the party has fielded alternative candidates in case of cancellation of her candidature.
Okay, so Masud, if I may come in here, Rafiqul Islam, because I think it's important to mention one thing here. Masud, I wanted to ask you about this. You mentioned that both of you have mentioned that there are different candidates running for BNP party, but Khaleda Zia's own son, Tariq Rahman, lives in London now, and he says that he is one of the BNP leaders right now, but he cannot come back and contest in these elections. So what do you make of that? What is your opinion on that, Masud?
His son is the chairperson of Khaleda Zia's party, BNP, but he is also convicted from another cases. So Mr. Tariq Rahman is now living in London.
Yes.
And he also cannot participate at the election. Even the Khaleda Zia's family or Zia's families, nobody can participate because nobody is inside in Bangladesh. Everybody is outside. Only Khaleda Zia is in prison. So in jail. So it is not possible the Khaleda's family to lead the alliance of her party even. So the alliance with many parties, their alliance is Jati ঐক্য Front, and it is led by another party. It is a minor party. Bangladesh Ghaffar party is a small party, but he is leading the alliance because of the lack of the leadership. Dr. Kamal Hussein is a senior politician of Bangladesh and also a senior lawyer and former prime minister, former foreign minister, so he is leading. But Tariq Rahman cannot participate. But I can assure you that all of the constituency, BNP has their candidates. BNP, they have the sharing of the seats, and some alliance have got the seats. But I am agree with Mr. Rafiqul Islam that they have submitted for Khaleda Zia's nomination in 3 constituencies in Bogura, 2 seats in Bogura and 1 in Feni. But it seems that she will be disqualified. She is disqualified to participate by the court. So they have the alternative candidates for that 3 seats. So it seems that Khaleda Zia and her family members cannot be participating this time upcoming election to be held in 30 December. But other candidates from her party, they are participating. So it seems a fully participatory election.
Okay, so Rafiqul Islam, do you think that without Khaleda Zia's presence in these elections, that her party really has a chance and that there is even really any opposition to Sheikh Hasina, or will this be an easy win for Sheikh Hasina?
The BNP chairperson and the BNP acting chairman, Tariq Rahman, BNP lawyers are alleged that the cases filed against the 2 top BNP leaders and other rank file, they allege the cases have been all the cases, including 37 cases filed against Khaleda Zia, were politically motivated, and in a bid to keep them from out of the election process. So there is no candidate shortage or candidate problem with the BNP. The BNP fielded more than 1 candidate in each of the 300 constituencies to contest the election. Their fear, their apprehending of lack of level playing field. That election is approaching, but the BNP leaders are releasing that their party leaders are being arrested, and there is no level playing field. So that is more important for the BNP and opposition for holding, and also challenge for holding a free, fair, and neutral election.
Right.
So
okay.
And Jatiyo ঐক্য Front and the 20 Party Alliance are working to field a common candidate on behalf of the 26 partners in the two alliances, a common candidate. They are working on it.
Okay,
so if there is a free and fair election, the
yeah.
PNC and its partners are hopeful of winning the election.
Okay, so Masud, one of the important things here, as Rafiqul Islam mentioned, Masud, is that the accusation from BNP is that the charges against Khaleda Zia were politically motivated. Do you agree with that? Because we can also talk about the allegations against Sheikh Hasina when it comes to corruption as well. What do you think of that, Masud?
It is actually under court consideration, and in our country, sometimes there are history of political motivated cases, but you have to be proved it in the court. Otherwise, there is no way to prove it. It's because the court are independent. So you have to prove in the court. If you look at the discussion between ruling BNP. Ruling Awami League and BNP, opposition BNP, before the election process, they have raised some issues and they said the political motivated case must be withdrawn. They have given the list of the political motivated cases, and they have raised the demand of release of Khaleda Zia. The government side said that they will not oppose in bail or other release. Oppose in the bill, but you have to go by court proceedings. So court proceedings have barred her to participate at the election. If it is a politically motivated case, but court, you have to proceed on the procedure of the legal way. And if you look at this case was filed by during the period of, we call it 111 period, where the army-backed government was in the power. So Awami League did not file this case. Case was filed by, but Awami League has continues opposing the release of Khaleda Zia, but this time they were agreed. They was agreed if the court give the release or court give the bail, then they will not oppose it. But there are two parties in this case. One is government and another is anti-corruption, SEC, Anti-Corruption Commission. It is Anti-Corruption Commission is independent, so government cannot.
Okay, because you made that point about independence, Masud, I think that's an important point made, and I want to ask Rafiqul Islam about that. Rafiqul Islam, do you believe that these courts, these anti-corruption courts, are independent, or do you think that there is, in fact, political motivations?
It is difficult to make any comments whether it is politically motivated by me. But the opposition BNP leaders and their lawyers are claiming that most of the cases, after announcing the schedule, many cases were filed against the BNP leaders, and many senior leaders, even party candidates, were arrested in the meantime. That's why the BNP is raising question whether there should be a free and fair election. Okay.
But I'm wondering, Rafiqul Islam, why hasn't there been a proper investigation about the allegations of corruption against Sheikh Hasina?
Thousands of cases filed against the Awami League leaders during the army-backed caretaker government has been, the leaders have been acquitted from the cases, terming that the cases were politically motivated. The cases of, against the ruling party leaders were withdrawn, but it is not been for the opposition leaders.
Okay, so Masud, do you agree with that? Do you think that the allegations against Sheikh Hasina were properly investigated?
Actually, this was no have the scope for investigation done, because all of these allegations were withdrawn, if you have the allegation, then there will be investigation. If you consider in our country, if you consider that this case are politically motivated, then there is a process of withdrawn the allegations. The Bangladesh's Interior Ministry would call Home Ministry. They actually go make the list of the political motivated cases. So the ruling parties, people who were harassed before they have given the list to the Home Ministry. And not only the Sheikh Hasina's time, even the Khaleda Zia's time, the BNP activists have the accused BNP activists have the list, and they have list in the Home Ministry, and they have withdrawn the cases. So this time, Awami League also withdrawn their cases, but opposition parties' cases were not withdrawn. And then that time they have raised this question during the dialogue between Sheikh Hasina and the opposition BNP parties. Then they have given the list of their political motivated cases. They have demanded the withdrawal of the cases against Sheikh Khaleda Zia and other BNP leaders. So it is a matter of political decision.
Okay, so Rafiqul Islam, when we talk Bangladesh, we always talk about Khaleda Zia or we talk about Sheikh Hasina. Do you think, Rafiqul Islam, that it is time for somebody new to lead the country?
The BNP is the arch rival of the BNP, and there are the people, two leaders, Khaleda Zia and Sheikh Hasina, the two top leaders of our country.
Yeah.
So the people are finding, people are assuming that the election will be held, keeping Khaleda Zia in the prison, and she may not be take part in it. The people people understand the reason actually behind the case, and the reason they are not allowing her to take part in the election. They want holding a free, fair election, and they just want holding a free, fair election, and it will not be a big matter even if Khaleda Zia remains in the prison. But the opposition wants a free and fair election, and they hope that they will win the election if the election is held in a free and fair manner after creating a level playing field.
Okay, so Masud, do you think that there is a level playing field right now in Bangladesh when it comes to these elections?
This time the election will be under the Sheikh Hasina's government. In our country system, since 1991, there is a caretaker government system. The interior authority who conduct the election. In 1991, there was a government, and then 1996 and 2001, it was an interior arrangement. They only conduct the election. But this time, Sheikh Hasina, the current prime minister, is holding the election in line with the other countries, like the India or America or United Kingdom. The ruling prime minister in the seat, and they have made the constitutional amendment. So it is under Sheikh Hasina's government the election will be held. So there is a fear from the opposition, Khaleda Zia's parties, that there maybe not the field is not level playing. But they have the different tactics and a different strategy to counter this problem, and they have and we have the election commission. It is a more independent body, so election commission has a strong power. If election commission apply the whole authority and the power, then election could be a fair, more fair if the election commission act very strong. They act because they have the constitutional power. They can ask the police and the local administration to be neutral. If all are neutral, then there is a chance to be free and fair election. And if this is not a free and fair election, then they have the opposition being has the different tactics. They are applying everything. So the strong alliance led by Dr. Kamal Hussein, which is the Khaleda Zia's party is included, and also the strong alliance led by Sheikh Hasina. The two alliances are participating every constituency, and it is a very tough election, and you cannot go before the election what will be the result.
Okay, so Masud, I'm wondering, as I asked Rafiqul Islam, I want to ask you as well, Masud, do you think it is time for a new leadership in the country? We always talk about either Khaleda Zia or Sheikh Hasina. Should there be somebody new who leads Bangladesh, do you think?
There is a discussion about some corner, but this discussion and this proposal is not strong, because Khaleda Zia and Sheikh Hasina both are very, very popular leadership here, and they are active and strong to lead their parties. They physically and otherwise, and they are doing better than any. There is no alternative leadership who can replace Sheikh Hasina or Khaleda Zia at this moment. So, if some elite people wants a third leadership, but it is not Bangladesh's ground is not still prepared for alternative leadership, because both of the leaders are too much popular there in their parties. So it is difficult, because Awami League and BNP, they are the major parties, and their activists and the leaders decided to keep the top post for Sheikh Hasina and Khaleda Zia. So if some elite people, but some minority people, but they want a third leadership, but it is not in reality. It is not possible to run this at this moment in Bangladesh.
Okay, so Rafiqul Islam, I will talk about the legacy so far of Sheikh Hasina. Some people say that under her leadership, the economy in Bangladesh has done very well. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it is true that Bangladesh is going ahead with economic emancipation. It is under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. But the deterioration of law and order, killing and disappearance and forced disappearance is a concern among the people. But regarding development, the country is going ahead. You know, the Bangladesh is building for the bridge by our own resources. You know. No, but the people want safety and security of their lives and property. They are concerned about it. Otherwise, on economy, Bangladesh is going ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to add another voice to this conversation. We're now joined by Mr. Abdul Ghaffar Aziz, who is part of the foreign affairs of Jamaat-e-Islami, and he's speaking to us now on the line. Mr. Abdul Ghaffar, pardon me, thank you for joining us. Abdul Ghaffar, what do you make of the elections in Bangladesh and whether they will be free and fair? Ever since now we've heard that Khaleda Zia will not be allowed to run.
Yes, actually there are very serious concerns from observers from all over the world for the elections in Bangladesh. Actually, when we describe the previous elections, when the major parties boycotted and one-sided election took place, and only about 5% was the real turnout of these elections. So we are really we have doubt about the coming elections as well, and all the political parties there also showing their concerns, starting from BNP and other political alliances. Even inside Awami League, they are very much confirmed that it will be a one-side election and they will be managed as they wish, because the election process started when Hasina refused to have an independent interim government to run the elections. So under her regime, these elections will not be different than the previous one.
Just very quickly, Abdul Ghaffar, because we're running out of time, I do apologize for interrupting you, but I'm wondering, what can be argued by Sheikh Hasina is that the case against Khalida Zia is such that it's an independent case, that the Supreme Court has independently decided, obviously, according to the laws of Bangladesh, that a candidate who has more than 2 years of jail cannot run an election. So that's not something that is Sheikh Hasina's fault, is it?
It is not the issue of only Ms. Khalida Zia, but in general, all the opposition parties, including 20-party alliance or the newly established alliance, all of them, they are showing their concerns and they are not satisfied that these elections are going free and fair. And the process has started from the nominations as well. As you remember, in previous elections, more than 50% of the candidates, they won the election unopposed. So the same is the story in these elections regarding the corruption of any of the political leaders. So let the people decide. And also the judiciary system, especially when the trial took place against the political leadership, everybody, even the leadership, I met some of the leadership from Awami League. I don't want to mention their names. Some of them are still in cabinet. They said that it's a political decision. It was not a judiciary trial and the judicial trial of these politicians. And the issue of Khalida is the same, and his son. Why they don't allow all the political leaders to come to the people, and people should decide through their votes that who is their leader in coming election.
Okay, let's leave it there at that. Gentlemen, we appreciate all the insights, of course, into this very important issue. We were joined there by Abdul Ghaffar Aziz, who's part of the Foreign Affairs section of Jamaat-e-Islami, who is speaking to us live on the line. We were also joined by Mr. Masud Karim, diplomatic editor at Jugantar Daily Bangladesh. And we were also joined finally by Rafiqul Islam Azad, senior staff reporter at The Independent. As all of our guests there spoke about, these elections that are going to be coming up December 30th in Bangladesh are complex ones, though there is hope that they will be free and fair. This case against Khalida Zia, according to the Supreme Court, is something that has been, of course, a ruling that has been brought forth independently. According to many experts, others can argue that this is a politically motivated case. We'll, of course, have to wait and see how all of this plays out on the ground and what this means for Bangladeshis going forward. We'll leave it there for now, but stay tuned. We'll be back with our next segment after this break.